It was a passing conversation I had with my dad, um, where he explained to me that he wanted to be an accountant. And it was very peculiar to me because I never knew that of him because he's always worked at a printing shop. He was a head pressman for many years. He retired from it. So it was very like daunting to me that he would say, I wanted to be an accountant. And so I started doing research before I went into my high school years, and I found a high school that offer an accounting program, and so I applied and I was accepted. So my 3 years of high school, I study accounting. Fun fact: I am an identical twin. And like Alina said, I do own a candle company with my twin sister, Rayda Company. And my mom used to, she used to say, growing up and as an adult, she used to say to us, figure it out. And I used to, at first, just upon recently, I figured that saying was the best gift she's ever given me. Because figure it out has allowed me to tap with my inner self, like I was mentioning, but it taught me to be resilient. Figure it out taught me to be resourceful because I had to research or I have to look. I've had many failures, but I've had many rewarding times where I've had to figure it out because I've had to be resourceful. So I think, and just upon recently, I I figure out that that is the best advice or saying or that she had ever gifted me because it has allowed me to be where I am today.
Hi everyone, this is Alina, and we are back with Women Who Market interviews. The reason why we took a little bit of a break is because a lot of things happen in my life. For example, I have a baby. But now we are ready and with all the energy to start interviewing and meeting wonderful women that are doing amazing things, which is the case of my dear invite, Rayda Anthony. I met her almost 10 years ago. So we worked together at a tech company here in Tampa, and I was the digital marketing manager, and Rita was helping in the accounting, and we worked together on keeping the media budget. She basically was making sure that I wasn't overspending.
There you go.
and I worked there for about 2 years, and we got a really good connection because Rita was in charge and also was involved with like the social gatherings and events. So we had similar backgrounds. We're both Latinas. There you go, and we just got along really well. Life happened. I left. She will tell us a little bit what she did in the meantime. And recently, we got back together because Rita's going to start her master's degree, and she wanted to know a little bit about my experience. And I am so grateful that you reached out, Rita, really, because if it wouldn't be because of that, we wouldn't have reconnected. And I feel like we have so many things in common, and I have so many things to learn from you. So thank you for reaching out. And because of all that, here we are at this interview. So welcome,
Thank
Rita.
you. Thank you, Alina, for having me, for that warm welcome and that introduction. And like Alina said, we met 10 years ago at our workplace. I still work there at a technology company in the Tampa Bay area. And just like Alina said, a little bit about myself. I have been I've been doing accounting for over 20 years in different industries. But it's something that I came about in an early on stages of my education. But just an introduction because Alina did a great job introducing me and how we came acquaintance. And we reconnected, like she said, recently because I am pursuing a higher education. And I remember in many passing conversations that we had while we were working together that she had earned her master's degree. So it's always good to reconnect with people because, like she said, life happens.
Mm-hmm.
So when life happens to you personally, it's always nice to be able to have that connection that you could draw to and get that advice that you need.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's get started from the beginning.
Yes.
Um, just give me a quick snap about yourself. Just tell us a little bit about yourself, who is Rayda, and also what is your current role at these companies, Accusoft, the tech company that we met.
Yeah, so a little bit about myself in a personal level. I am a wife and I am a mom of a blended family. We have six kids. Ages range from 24 to 7 years old.
Wow.
So it's a busy household. We have boys, we have girls. It's all of it. I also have a little fur baby. His name
Oh,
is Amir. He's a little miniature schnauzer. He's sleeping right now, so he's usually with me all the time.
oh,
But
nice.
in my free time, I have a group of friends that we do quarterly girls trips. And so I do enjoy doing my quarterly girls trips. We do hiking. I love doing crafts. I love doing home improvements. I have many power tools. That's something that people might not know about me. I am a very good carpenter.
Nice, nice. Good to know. I'm taking notes.
Yes, I love doing carpentry work. I do renovations with my dad. So I've really enjoyed doing that. And regarding my current role in the current company that I'm with, as I mentioned, I've done accounting for almost 20 years. But I'm the senior accountant at this time for a technology company in the Tampa Bay area. And in my role, within the scope of my accounting role, I have the opportunity to oversee our interns. We do have an internship program, so that's been very rewarding. That's something that I've done probably the past 3 years as a senior accountant. It allowed me to challenge myself and explore other areas in a more of a leadership role.
Hmm.
So I do find that to be a lot more rewarding and challenging because as a leader, you always have to kind of evolve and kind of grow and help others grow. And especially the interns because they're just getting their foot in the door in this arena, right? And so it's always nice to be able to give a hand, not a hand, but teach others, right, what you've learned and see their progress and knowing that that's something that you're like a stepping stone to their future, which is nice.
I think internships for me, I am forever grateful for them because they were the ones that made me have the career that I have. I
Yeah.
had like I think four internships. And I am forever grateful for the leaders, my bosses. I was super lucky because I got to work with really amazing people that show me the ropes. Because in school, I love that you get the technical knowledge,
Yes.
the know how. Okay, this is how you do things, but obviously you're not implementing it. And in the internship is where then you truly, in my opinion, learn because like okay, I know how this works, but this is how it actually works, and this is how it's benefiting the company or whatever. And also having somebody, I think the interns are very lucky to have you because having somebody that is willing to put the time and effort into having a good internship can also make a huge difference. Um, and probably they're not going to see it right now, and probably you're not going to see it now. But in a few years, when you see their LinkedIn and everything that they're doing, then is when it gets even more rewarding. Awesome. Glad that that's happening. So tell me, how did you get started in the field of accounting?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, started like in my younger years before I started high school. It was a passing conversation I had with my dad, um, where he explained to me that he wanted to be an accountant. And it was very peculiar to me because I never knew that of him because he's always worked at a printing shop. He was a head pressman for many years. He retired from it. So it was very like daunting to me that he would say I wanted to be an accountant. And so I started doing research before I went into my high school years, and I found a high school that offer an accounting program, and so I applied and I was accepted. So my 3 years of high school, I studied accounting. And that was really how I started. Just a passing conversation with my dad and his aspiration and dream to always be an accountant. And life happens, and his life took him to a different path, and that was not something that he was able to bring to fruition. And I was able to run with his dream and do it. And actually, I do love being an accountant. So that's how it all started.
You know, a fun fact, my dad, it's also an accountant, and I wanted to be an accountant for a while. Then I found advertising, and then everything changed. But we could have been colleagues. So tell me about your decision of continuing with your education.
My role. And in order to do that, I had to continue my education. But I do feel that there is a sense of reward because there was a gap where I didn't go to school. So I feel that because life happens. So I do feel that my decision continuing my education, like now moving from bachelor's to a master's, I think is in a personal level, I feel like it will allow me to grow, not just in the accounting arena, but learn new tools. You know, education is so paramount to just living, right? In all aspects. So I think that's really my biggest motivational factor was my ability to just continue to learn and to grow in a personal level, which then translates to my business, to more of the accounting arena.
Amazing, amazing. So if anybody is watching this and is doubting, look at this. This woman has a big family, has a full-time job, and she still was determined to finish her bachelor's. Now she's doing her master's, and she's fantastic. She also has not only her full-time job, but she also has a side business with her sister. She does it all.
Yes,
So
yes. Fun fact that Alina just brought up, which will go to like the first question a little bit about myself. Fun fact: I am an identical twin, and like Alina said, I do own a candle company with my twin sister, Rayda Company, and that's a fun fact about Rayda.
yes, and those candles are amazing. I have one and I love it. I love it. Awesome. So, can you, I mean, you have a very long career. I'm sure that you have maybe a memorable experience that has really shaped your career.
Yeah. So my first job, as I mentioned, while I was in high school, I studied accounting, but I got a job at a grocery store when I
Oh,
was 15 as a cashier, and I worked there for the 3 years I was in high school. So I was able to promote from being a cashier to working customer service, and I think that really shaped early on my role as an accountant, because as a cashier I had to learn how to balance my register at the end of the night. And then when I was promoted to customer service, I was in charge of scheduling staffs. I was in charge of the general ledger of the grocery store. I was
Mm.
in charge of um, balancing our expenses, the supply chain. So it really shaped. It was. I feel like it was a good stepping stone. Also allowed me to learn more about customer service, working with the public. So all those things really shape. Um, they were great stepping stone for later on. They were translate the things that I learned there were translatable through the years in the accounting field as a cashier.
Wow, and that's amazing. And that
So
was your first experience.
it was my first experience. It was a good 3 years that I was there. Like I said, it exposed me to not just accounting, but exposed me to, customer service, how to take care of problems because problems do arise, right? And when you deal with the public, the customer is always right.
Hmm.
So it was good. There was lots of different things that I took from that my first job that it has translated throughout all the different industries that I worked as an accountant because like I said, that one I worked at a grocery store. I've worked for a large law firm that represented all the banks for the state of Florida
Oh,
and
wow.
Georgia for bankruptcy. And I worked for Univision, which is a Spanish TV station. I did accounting for them.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So I've done accounting for an array of different industries, and I have gotten golden nuggets from each of them.
Yeah.
But I do have to say that working at the grocery store was one of the most rewarding because it not only was my first job introducing me to the accounting world, but it was a great way. Anytime you work with the public, it's a great way to utilize everything you learn in school
Yep.
from, just cues, right? How to speak to somebody, communicate, empathy, all those things. I feel like I learned and I was able to take those things with me.
Yeah. The soft skills, it's something that going back to even the internship or things like that, your first work experience, is not only when you apply what you learn at school or even like some people don't even go to school. They go to even YouTube and learn how to do something or whatever, and then you find a way to apply it. So you not only learn that, but you also start learning those soft skills that you will take for the rest of your life. How to speak, how to write an email, how to answer the phone. Like there's so many things that are so important for the rest of your career. So yeah, the first experience, work experience, whatever it is crucial. Well, and as you mentioned, also problems. I'm sure that not everything has been nice and peachy. So, what motivates you to keep going when times are difficult?
Yeah. So one of the things um, that motivates me is my family. Also, my mom, my late mom, she always had a saying that used to say, "Never give up, never surrender."
Hmm. Hmm.
That was something that she lived with, and she planted that seed in all of us, in my siblings. Never give up, never surrender. And I planted that seed on my kids as well because it really propels us when we're feeling tired, when we're feeling like we can't do it. And the reality is that we could tap into our inner self and we could conquer anything that we put our minds to. So that has always stuck with me. So really what motivates me and my big why are my kids, my husband, my family. It's really what drives me every day to do better, to be a better person, to do well at work, to help others. So yes, that's my big motivational factor. My kids, my
That's
husband.
that. And yeah, and that's what, when sometimes you ask, why is this worth it, or why did I have to go through X, Y, and Z? And it's so nice that you can just think about, why am I doing it? And maybe you picture in your mind your husband, your kids, and that's just what you need to keep going.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm glad that you have that. So before we go into the very last question, there is one that is actually one of my favorites, which is, what's the best advice you have ever received? It could be professional or
So
personal.
yeah. So best advice I've ever received. I actually was talking to my twin sister the other day about this. Because my mom used to, growing up, she used to say, growing up and as an adult, she used to say to us, figure it out. And I used to, at first, just upon recently, I figured that that saying was the best gift she's ever given me. Because figure it out has allowed me to tap with my inner self, like I was mentioning, but it taught me to be resilient. Figure it out taught me to be resourceful because I had to research or I have to look. I've had many failures, but I've had many rewarding times where I've had to figure it out because I've had to be resourceful. So I think, and just upon recently, I I figure out that that is the best advice or saying or that she had ever gifted me because it has allowed me to be where I am today and know that any problem has a solution. Every problem has a solution. It might not always work out the way that you plan, but every problem has a solution. So I think that's one of my best advice that I've received to figure it out.
Amazing. I'm gonna take that for Leah, because I think as a new mom, of course, you don't know anything and you're trying to do your best, and you think that helping them and doing things for them is the best way to help them. Um, but as you say that, I was reading an article that says that kids that don't receive help doing their homework actually do better than kids that get help from their parents doing their homework, because they have to figure it out.
They
If
have to figure it out. Yeah,
they
yeah. I mean,
can.
yeah. And growing up, I used to think, and even as an adult, I would go through challenging things, and I would confine on my mom. And instead of embracing me or holding me, she just said, figure it out. And for many years, I thought, wow, that's very motherless of her. But the reality is that it was the best gift she's given me because thinking back on hindsight, um, I have been able to get through the other side because I have figured it out, you know? And I think that that's something that I would not have the capability of doing so if she would have held my hand through these challenges and the progression of things. I would not have gotten the same results. So I think that that's figure it out. It's the best advice.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so what's next for you?
Yeah, so as we mentioned in it before, I am enrolled in the master's program, which I'll start now this fall. I'm very excited. I'm anxious, but I know that with every semester, I have that feeling, which means that I'm going to do well. But with that said, I'm looking to finish the master's, look into maybe growing in that position, the accounting, hopefully be a CFO of some company one day. I'm welcoming, embracing
Let's call
change
it.
and
Let's
growth. I'm gonna claim it.
let's
Um,
manifest.
yes, I'm gonna claim it. So that's what's next in a professional level. My professional level, I would like to continue to grow and being able to apply everything that I learn, um, and just help others. And in more of the personal level, I have just talked about. I've always believed in meditation and work and balance, but I would like to compete in like a bodybuilding type of competition.
Wait,
So
what?
that's what's next
That
in a
is
personal level.
that is amazing.
Yes. So please stay
What?
tuned. Stay tuned.
Yes, yes, yes. Did you start training and everything?
So I've had two meetings, two conversations, two different meetings about how to get started, and what to eat, because I know that eating meals and different workouts, that's paramount to the whole process. So I have gone two meetings with two different peoples to kind of get their intake of how they went through it and what they did and where to go. So figuring it out. I'm figuring it
Figure it
out, Alina.
out. Okay, is this like not a lot of people know about this, or this is just
No, no, not. But now people will know. No,
ooh.
no. My twin sister, ironically, I had mentioned it to her yesterday, and ironically, she was thinking she was doing the same thing too. And to my surprise, because she hadn't said anything and I hadn't said anything, so I guess it's a twin intuition, and we were both in sync. And I was like, "Oh, I'm planning to do it when I'm 45." She's like, "Me too."
What?
Yes.
Oh,
So
that's amazing. You guys can train together and we will do a follow up, which
yeah.
45 will be like in 20 years from now,
Oh yeah.
to see how you're doing with that plan. Amazing. Well, thank you so much for this time. Thank you for investing the time in telling us all these good, how you mentioned, nuggets of information. I hope the audience really enjoy it as well. Every time that I speak to you, and I say this honestly, I always learn something new.
Oh,
So I always take something for my life. So I really enjoy the conversation. Thank you, and I wish you all the best.
thank you, Alina. Thank you for having me. This was a blast. I really appreciate it. And I wish you all the best with your organization, Women Who Markets. I think it's wonderful. I think it's amazing. You're doing amazing things. So thank you so much for the opportunity, and just keep going. You'll figure it out.
I will figure it out. Thank you.